Do you have money stuck in an old 401k and your advisor saying, no, you cannot put money into real estate, even though you have money there or in your IRA? Well, we're going to refute that today. A lot of people don't realize you can invest real estate assets in your IRA. And we're today joined by Kurt Power, who is a stud in that topic. And he's going to give us a lot of background, really, that you probably don't know because, again, your advisor, you might have a nice advisor, but your advisor is not telling you really maybe what you should know with respect to IRAs and your real estate. Kurt, thanks for coming, man.
Pleasure to be on, man. I'm glad we were able to put this together.
I love it. We're going to be here talking for a half an hour, as you know, or as you might not know. My name is Kenneth French, vastsolutionsgroup.com, everyone out there. We mainly work with real estate investors. 93% of our clients are real estate investors, most of which are entrepreneurs. About the same number are entrepreneurs. We have clients all over the country, and a lot of them do need help because they want to move money, let's say, from their 401k into IRAs and invest in real estate. So this is a perfect conversation to have.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an industry that's been around for a very long time, but there's a lot more people don't know about this than do know about this. And you've illustrated, a great point where no disrespect to financial advisors and things like that, but many times financial advisors, either they don't know, or B, they've got their own interests in mind when they're telling their clients they can't do this. So the mission that I have as an employee of Quest, and the mission at Quest period, is first and foremost to educate people all across the country that yes, these type of accounts work. Yes, you can buy real estate, you can purchase syndications, you can do note investments, really anything that is not an alternative, is alternative to your stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And we like to have fun doing it. This should be exciting for people. I mean, a lot of times retirement accounts can put people to sleep, but we look at it from the angle of this is exciting, this is fun, because this is a vehicle that can help you change your life, can change your entire outcome of not just you, but your families.
Well, totally. It's crazy that, well, and by the way, generally speaking, because what we mainly do tax, we're tax first and then everything else afterwards, because we want to lower the tax liability. So we sometimes say, well, if you have, money and you want to put in, let's say a lot of money, you want to put in real estate, yeah, that might help your tax liability, right? So maybe invest in non-qualified assets, non-qualified asset, not your IRAs, not your 401ks, but put that stuff into real estate. But then again, let's just say you don't have money. You don't have money outside of an IRA or a 401k. That's when we say, well, whoa, that's the best time to use money for real estate, because you don't have money otherwise, and real estate's a pretty darn good asset.
100%. And that's one of the things that we educate folks on, is that the number one thing people are looking for in this industry, in my opinion, deals, yes, but they're looking for the capital to do the deal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't recognize, or maybe they don't know, hey, there's trillions of dollars inside of retirement accounts. And at every meeting that we do, every meetup, every event, every whatever that is, real estate and this industry, events are a big part of that. Networking, socials, events, there's billions of dollars in the room in the form of retirement accounts. So if you're looking for capital, an IRA is a great place to look, because the ease of the transfer of funds from an IRA to your syndication to purchase the property, whatever that is a very seamless transaction, as we're talking about the individual themselves. If a person really wants to stay ahead and get ahead in life, the key to that is to avoid as much taxation as possible. Keep more of your money. We don't proclaim that a self-directed IRA is the end-all be-all, but what we do abide by and believe that this should be part of your overall wealth building strategy. Mm-hmm. If you really want to get ahead and keep more of the money that you work hard for, you're going to have to use IRAs at some point as a mechanism to do that.
Totally. And we're big believers in it. The way we put together, again, we our TPAs for 401ks, defined benefit plan, profit sharing plans. We make it unbundled so people can put money into real estate. And then again, so IRAs are a good spot for it too. And those are construed as qualified plans, but they're obviously for an individual typically. So let's wait a minute. Why should people be listening to you, Kurt? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? I think it's a pretty cool background.
Yeah. So I've got a pretty varied background. So I grew up in a really small town in Iowa, about 150 people. So you had to have big dreams, big ambitions if you were ever going to, quote, get out of the small town area. I wasn't a farmer. I had no desire to work in the factory. I knew I wanted more. So that was the germ of the idea. Was I wanted to live in a city because cities were where things were happening. So that was the goal. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but that was the goal. Fitness was that first vehicle. I used to compete in powerlifting, strongman, done some bodybuilding.
Look at you, really?
Trained people for a career. Like I've trained over 10,000 sessions as a personal trainer. It was always about helping people. Real estate has become that vehicle that I use to help people. A client of mine that I was training worked for a company in Kansas City that was looking to onboard new people, and she thought I'd be a good fit. And that was my entry point to the industry. So from there, I've helped build companies. I've helped companies exit and sell their portfolios. Building a company like Think Realty with Eddie Wilson and several others that helped build that company and launch that. VP of Investor Relations for Pinnacle Storage Properties, working for John Manus, managing $30-40 million private equity, $150 million self-storage portfolio. So I got to learn the mechanics of how people invest, but also start to understand the investor mindset, what they're looking for in deals, and what they're looking for in asset classes, and really the why behind the what of why they're doing it. Mm-hmm. And the transition to Quest was very seamless and easy because Quest made it very seamless and easy. Never worked for an organization that was this structured, this organized, this ready to onboard somebody that didn't have a lot of IRA experience, though it had a lot of real estate experience. Now I can tell you about everything inside and out that you'd ever want to know about an IRA because of the quality of training and mentorship that I've had. So if there's a why somebody's listening to me, it's because I put people first and foremost, and I'm never going to lie to somebody or give them an answer that satisfies their question. I'm going to tell you exactly what I know, but more importantly, I'm very upfront. I'll tell you everything I don't know, but then I'm going to go find out the answer, and I'm going to help you get to the point where you want to go. So credibility would be the biggest thing. Why anybody would want to listen to me is I've managed to do very well in this industry for 10 years. And I'd like to think I have some credibility myself, but the peers that I'm associated with, I leverage that to get even more credibility.
Yeah, you've got the background. There's no doubt about that. So how have, again, let's assume you're talking to a part of our audience that they just have money in a 401k. What are the kind of logistics? Let's say they say, I do want to do real estate in an IRA. What are some of the logistics of moving the money from the 401k over at ABC company to, let's say, their own IRA?
Sure. So working with Quest, we want to let you know up front that we have the fastest processing times in the industry. We're 24 to 48 hours to open accounts, to fund accounts, to process your investment. Now, there's certain things that have to happen for that 24 to 48 to happen. First thing, we got to have the account established, but we also have to understand if somebody's moving money from a 401k, is it your current employer or is it your former employer? If it's former, very easy. You can move it however you want. If you're still with your current employer, well, it's an extra step. You got to find out from that plan provider, can I move it while I'm still employed? Mm-hmm. Assume that you can. Well, then we're going to help initiate the rollover of funds to the IRA at Quest. You're going to identify the investment that you want to do because we can't give you tax, legal, or investment advice. Mm-hmm. The thing about self-directed IRAs is it's just a marketing term. Self-directed is just a marketing
Totally.
term.
Yeah.
It's the same IRA you have at Fidelity, Schwab, wherever. Just allows you a different vehicle, different asset class to invest in. But with us, we're very highly trained and educated. Many of us are investors ourselves. So we think like investors. We understand when somebody's trying to get an investment done, we understand the urgency that is, because the last thing you want to do is lose the deal, especially if it's the deal, the one you've been looking for. So 24 to 48 to get your account open. We work with you to get the rollover of funds. Once you identify your investment, you fill out some paperwork. You've got some hand holding along the way, though. We're not just leaving you on your own. You've got dedicated specialists working with you every step of the way. And we'll fund your investment in 24 to 48 hours. And hopefully it's a great one. You make a bunch of money for your retirement account and you do it again and again and again. That's how wealth is built, through compounding.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a marketing term, self-directed IRA or real estate IRA. It's totally 100%. It's a marketing term.
Yeah, and we have to clear up some confusion on many of our consultations because a lot of times people will say, well, I want a self-directed IRA. And that's when we have to say, well, it's just a marketing term. It's the same IRA you already have, just the different assets that you can invest in. So we don't proclaim that an IRA at Quest is better than an IRA at Fidelity. Ideally, you have both. And you have both for diversification purposes. That if the stock market's going haywire, well, you got this IRA at Quest, now you get the private market. Well, if the private market's going haywire, well, you got this money over here in the public side that hopefully is doing well. So you're spreading your risk, you're mitigating your risk, and you're having the best of both worlds. You're able to do both. You're able to play on both sides of the fence, public and private. That's the beauty of these.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I wrote an article, I'm going to say about 5 years ago, about the fact, not bemoaning this, but the fact that, so many financial advisors would say, no, you can't put your money, your IRA money in real estate. But, I think partially because some people don't know, there's just not the education, their boss or their manager said, no, you can't, you only can use our platform and we only have mutual funds, stocks, or whatever. At the same time, people need to be educated and really understand that, yes, you can. The IRS there's no list, by the way. The IRS does not have a list that says you can invest in this, 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 and this, and this. There are a few things you cannot invest in, but generally speaking, there's no list saying what you can invest in. And you can invest in so many things in real estate, tax liens, as you said, raw land, apartment buildings, et cetera. In an IRA, you just have to have a trustee and a custodian. I think that's what you guys act pretty darn well as.
Yeah, that's really the calling card for us has been the customer service piece. So we've got about 22,000 clients across the United States. We hold $3 billion worth of assets. And at any given time, we could have $400 to $500 million of undirected funds sitting inside of clients' retirement accounts. So, the education piece never stops. It's not just for potential clients or existing clients, but it is for investment advisors. It is for lawyers and CPAs that maybe they've got a broad understanding of tax code. They've got a broad understanding of wealth preservation, but they don't have that specific knowledge that we have, where we know the IRS rules inside and out of what you can do and can't do from a prohibited transaction standpoint. We can tell you right away. We can't tell you if it's a good investment or a bad investment. That's up to you to decide. But we can tell you if you can do it or not. And when we say you can do it or not, it strictly comes down to what the IRS and Department of Labor say you can do. So we have those conversations on the upfront and initial conversations, but they're ongoing as well. Because this, people are very creative in their structures, very creative in the things they're looking for. So it's an ongoing education with people to let them know, yeah, that makes sense. You could do that, or no, you couldn't. Here's why.
I think that's one of the rubs about not you guys specifically, about your part of the industry, about self-directed IRAs. People think, because your fees are pretty thin, like really thin. That's why I look at it. They think that you guys can also give investment advice, and that's not your deal, No,
the fiduciary to a self-directed IRA is the account holder. You are the fiduciary. We can't do anything until you tell us to. And you tell us in the form of writing, and that's where the documentation comes in. I want to do this investment. We got to fill out the paperwork. I want to take a distribution. You got to fill out the paperwork. I want to transfer funds, whatever it is. It's all documentation, and we don't just act on our own accord. We act on behalf of what the client directs us to do.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of self-trustee, if you will, 401ks and defined benefit plans. Sometimes we have that same issue. People think, you guys are going to help us on all the investments. And no, we can't unless we're hired, separately. We have a separate entity for that. You know what I mean?
Sure. And that's why we do so much education, why we do so many events, both internally and externally. I mean, we're on the road every day of the year. We've got staff on Quest. It's at an event, giving presentations, speaking to groups across the US, but we also host our own. Because the fact is, since I can't give somebody tax or investment advice, which is different than Fidelity, they can tell you, well, you need to get in this mutual fund, or you need to buy this stuff. I can't do that. So I have to provide, and I being Quest, we've got to provide a platform so that clients can find deals. That's why we do so much education, why we do so many different events and in-person socials, the Quest Expo. We bring these experts together so that the client and prospective client can now learn A, what they can do with these type of accounts, but then B, you got to have that network of people, partners, and things to invest in. So we create that environment where it becomes very easy for somebody to go find what they want to do. Still got to do your due diligence, of course, but at the very least, we set the stage so that a client can have success.
Yeah, I like that. You're adding value. So you keep saying we in Quest. Why don't you go into a little bit of detail about Quest?
Sure. So my experience with Quest really started back in like 2015 or 16. They were my client when I was at Think Realty. Quest was a client of mine. And it was in 2018 that I flew down to Dallas for the first Quest Expo. I was at Think Realty at the time. And the first Quest Expo was 4 months at the same hotel in Dallas that we at Think Realty had thrown an event. And we had like 350 or 400 people. We thought it was the greatest event we'd ever done. Go down to the Quest Expo, their first time doing an event, they had 700 people there in the exact same venue. And I was like, this venue feels a little bit more crowded than when we were here. So I took notice of that. I took notice not just of the success of the event, but I observed the employees that were working. And if you've ever worked an event, they're exhausting. They can be very exhausting if you're putting it on. But I saw all the employees just happy, smiling, helpful, just having the time of their life. That always stood out. When I moved down to Houston, I started deepening the relationship, doing some different presentations and things with them. And that same thing just kept coming up of these guys work extremely hard, but they're always having fun. That's something I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I started to ask one day, the guy I was working with that was kind of my rep here, I said, what do you think about me working there? 2 weeks later, they hired me. It was that fast. And being on the inside, it's reaffirmed all of the values that Quest has always talked about. I mean, this organization cares about people, they care about the employees, they care about the clients. And when you come to an event like the Expo, the clients all that are there, you kind of get swept up in that culture. And the culture of Quest is the thing that I love the most, because we're ardent supporters of the fish philosophy of choose your attitude, be there, make somebody's day, and then play. You know, you have fun while you're working, but the genesis of all this is you choose your attitude. You know, we're here to serve people and have fun doing it. So it became very easy to assimilate to the company. And with the vision of Quest, I mean, we want to be the industry standard. We want to be respected by our peers. We want to be respected by our competitors. We want to do the right thing. And, you know, we make mistakes, every company does, but we also own up to that. So the transparency, the culture, it's something that you can't ignore. If you work with somebody with Quest, you get swept up in it. And the moniker that we have as employees is we're Questies, and you're a Questie for life once you're in. Whether you leave or not, you always have that. And it's the most fun I've ever had working a job. And as much as a job can be fun, it's the most fun I've ever had. And I've been fortunate to have so many great experiences in my career, but I always came back to this. And having worked at Quest, left and come back, if I have any say in it, this will be the last stop of my career, because I love this company.
Nice.
I love it here.
That's saying something.
Yeah. I love what we do. I love why we do it. And it's satisfying when you talk to people that you have helped, and they'll tell you the same thing. And then and it's like anything, catches fire. Then if somebody has a good experience, they're going to tell their friend about it. They're going to tell their neighbor about it. They're going to tell their gardener about it. They're going to tell everybody. And now you get them swept up in it as well. So it really becomes, everybody has each other's back, whether you're an employee or a client. We're all in it together. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, wow. I know it's a good culture. I consider that partly good Quincy, but
It starts at the top and it works its way all the way down. I like to tell that in presentations that we're the most highly trained, educated staff, from the very top all the way down to the person answering the phone at the front desk. I mean, we're equipped to answer your question. We're eager to do so.
I know we've referred some business to you guys, and it's gone pretty well. So, all right, let me ask this. Let's make it. I'm gonna throw a little curveball at you. Give me a case study where you guys have completely added value to a client who was completely screwed up in whatever respect. Again, with respect to, self-directed IRAs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different examples and ways you could go with that, but I mean, I think something that constantly comes up where you take the time, no matter how much time it is. Ideally, you do a consultation. The consultation is 30 minutes, maybe 45. I've seen IRA specialists be on the phone for 2 hours with a client. And ensure that they understand the process. And why that's important is you get people that call you all the time with this great deal. And then you got to pick the deal apart. And you maybe got to let them know why it's prohibited. And then the light bulb goes off on somebody where they're like, damn it, I was getting ready to do something that could have jeopardized my entire retirement for me and my family, my beneficiaries, my heirs. But you deliver the message in such a way where I know you have my best interests in mind. So I think that those are the things where you got to have everybody's excited to pick up the phone or jump on a Zoom when the news is good. But I think what separates us from not just our competitors, but a lot of people in the industry is we're going to pick up the phone and be proactive when maybe things aren't going so well.
Well, I like that.
Creates credibility. That's the most important thing. I think you define credibility by what do you do when the worst case scenario is happening. And the best thing you can do is be honest, treat it with respect, and give the client the advice that they need to hear, not that they want to hear, but that they need to hear. That is one of many things I would say is kind of the Quest difference, is that we do take that time up front and on an ongoing basis to make sure our clients know everything that they can and can't do. And the relief that the client has and the realization that they have when either A, they'd already done something that they couldn't do, but they still could undo it, or even better, when you prevent them from doing it, that's the fun part as well, is you're literally helping people.
Wow. Yeah. I like that. It's good culture you kids have there. What about, we were working with, I'm trying to think of a client and I don't remember the specifics, but I'll just shoot it out based on the specifics. I think they were looking at either having a LLC IRA or an IRA LLC filled with one piece of real estate, or putting different or 5 different pieces of real estate in 5 different LLCs. I know you're not a tax advisor. Just in general, this client was working with you guys. What do you suggest? Generally speaking, obviously you don't know the facts and circumstances, but just in general.
You paint the picture both ways is what you have to do for a client. And you're not saying that the way that maybe they want to do it, where they've got a checkbook control IRA and they establish 5 LLCs, they can do that, sure. They don't have to do it. And that's what we tell them. Like, you could go that route. Here's why you would want to go that route: by creating multiple LLCs. Each one of those LLCs is an individual LLC. So if the worst case scenario happens and we have a tenant that slips and falls, breaks their leg, or worse, and the family or that individual wants recourse, they can only go after that one LLC. They can't go after the entire retirement account. Whereas if my IRA holds 5 properties inside of one account and that catastrophic scenario happens, well, now suddenly all the assets could be in jeopardy. So you can do it either way. And that's, again, the transparency of our company is we're not going to tell you, well, you don't need to do that. We give the full scope. You could do it that way, and here's why we've seen clients do it. You could not do it this way, and here's what we've seen clients do. However, this is why a client might do that. And it's strictly for the asset protection piece, where they're a little bit further, secure or protected would be the best way of saying it.
Yeah, I remember they brought us on. Now I'm remembering that they were kind of debating, and trying to figure out the best solution for them. When that's when they called us with respect to you guys. I don't even know which direction they went. That was a while back. But okay, what about this? Do you guys do the accounting or the bookkeeping for said transaction?
That is on the client.
Yeah.
So we'll do all the reporting, 990Ts, things like that, and file on behalf for the IRS. But the bookkeeping piece of it, the expenses and things like that, the client tracks all of those, and they're going to need to track things like that when they get K1s. And if they ever want to talk about depreciation or write-offs expenses, we hold the asset, we hold custody of the asset, so it's in our name. But that client, going back to they're the fiduciary, if there's some record keeping and bookkeeping and things like that come up, that is on the individual and what I would call their power team, their tax attorney, CPA, regular attorney. That's for those people to help figure that out for them. No different than if I'm investing my own personal funds, I still better have a good lawyer. I better have a good tax attorney. I better have a good CPA, because what's that goal? The goal, if I'm doing it individually or in the IRA, I want to keep more of my money. So we're one piece of the puzzle. And we tell people that as well up front. When you're doing your due diligence, we strongly encourage you to talk to an attorney, talk to a CPA. And it's all about protecting yourself in case that worst case scenario happens.
Yeah, that was kind of a leading question because I wanted to remind you and our audience that we do that. We have a bookkeeping team that does that specifically. We have 4 different bookkeepers that do that specifically. When people have investments when they're in their qualified plan, let's say IRA, 401k, defined benefit plan, we do the specifics. And so I like what you said, power team. It's kind of a different dichotomy. You have a group who's doing kind of one piece of the project, and you have another group doing the other piece of the project, that being you guys, kind of the oversight or the custodian and trusteeship, if you will, for the plan.
I think you have to look at it almost like when you're an investor or an entrepreneur, you're running a business. That's the way I think you have to look at it. I had a guy tell me a long time ago, when you have 1 to 5 properties, you've got yourself a job.
Mm-hmm.
When you start having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more, now you've got a business,
Mm-hmm.
and the dynamics change. So that's where it becomes important as you're on that climb to start with the networking of, hey, I'm starting to get a little bit of success. I'm starting to have a little bit of this. Who do you go to for this advice? Who do you go to? And it's just an organic thing where now they're in your circle as well and they can help you.
Yep. All right. So as we kind of wrap up, so what's one thing that we haven't discussed that you think can add value to someone who now, they know that they can put real estate in an IRA as an example? What's one kind of thing we haven't gone over that you think you need to provide as far as advice goes?
Call us, 855 Fun IRAs. Call us. Whether you're my client or you're not my client, I want people to know I am not paid commission for my time. Quest pays us well enough to give up our time, to be able to talk to people. Whether you're my client or not, we're going to give you the same care and attention if you're not my client than if you are my client, because ultimately we want you to be our client. We believe that the most educated client becomes the best client. They just got to know what they're doing and how to do it. So the thing that I would stress to everybody, it doesn't cost you any money to call us for that consultation. It doesn't cost anything. It's just time, and we look forward to it.
Can you give that phone number one more time?
855 FUN, FUN, IRAs. So kind of going back to the culture and making this stuff fun, it's in our phone number. So we embody that.
What about your website? What's your website?
QuestTrustCompany.com. And when you go to that website, you hit the resources tab. We have an entire education center of blogs, of recorded presentations, not just from Quest employees, but people all over the United States that have spoken at our events or spoken at a webinar, Lunch and Learn. Utilize us as an education resource. Whether you ever pick up the phone and talk to me or another IRA specialist, go to our website and educate yourself on all the things that you can do and can't do with these type of accounts. And for us, all roads lead to our expo. Every year we throw one of the biggest expos in the industry. That's not just for IRA account holders. This is a true alternative asset conference. So whether you have an IRA or not, I guarantee you're going to have value being there, both from the networking, the education, but also the deals that organically happen at these events.
And how do you spell that website?
QuestTrustCompany.com.
Got it. Awesome. All right, man. I appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead.
As I say, that was like doing the alphabet backwards, trying to spell all that.
I wasn't sure if, some people, I know how to spell it, but some people would spell it QWEST. Some people would spell it.
No, it's all good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, I totally appreciate it. For everyone that's out there.
In the brain, like, am I spelling this correctly? So that's why I was saying it kind of slow.
No, you did it right, dude. You did it right. All right. Let's say someone wants to meet with you or chat with you individually. Do they call that same number? Do they email? Unless you don't want that. What are your thoughts?
No. You can call the number or you can email me directly. It's Kurt, KURT.power, POWER @QuestTrust.com. QUESTTRUST.com.
Nice work. All right, you guys, for all the listeners and watchers out there, it really is important to at least educate yourself because, so many of our clients do real estate. It's important to educate yourself on specifics like this, putting real estate in your IRA. I think most of our people know that you can, but some, I was on a call last week, they didn't even know, and these were experienced investors. They didn't know that you could put real estate in your IRA, and you can do that. Call us, stop by our website at vastsolutionsgroup.com if you need help, or get a hold of Kurt, get a hold of Quest. It's this is something at least to know about. If you're not going to employ it, at least know about it, right?
Absolutely. It's a powerful tool, and look at it as nothing more than that. Again, not the end all be all. Let this be a tool in your belt of your overall wealth building strategy. We're here to help you.
Awesome. Once again, this is Kenneth French, vastsolutionsgroup.com. Please stay for the next episode because I'm sure you're going to get value just like you got value out of this. Kurt, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Dude, nice job.